In today's video, we're going to talk about the student loan crisis in America and how I plan on paying mine off for free. Let's take a look at the problem with student loans. According to the Federal Reserve, as of June of 2020, the amount of student loans owed was $1.67 trillion. This has been labeled by many as the student loan crisis. You have big-name politicians such as Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and AOC all calling for the cancellation of student loan debt. It's a serious enough issue such that the first stimulus bill passed in response to the pandemic included student loan forbearance. Fortunately for most, student loan forbearance was recently extended this year by the current administration. But for those who don't have federal loans, or don't qualify for other reasons like myself, I thought it would be useful to share how I plan on paying off my student loans effectively for free. Just wanted to give a little background on me. I graduated college in roughly 6 years. I spent 3 years in community college and the remaining 3 at a university. After graduating in 2016, I had about $20,000 in federal student loans. Fast forward to late 2019, I found that my employer had a benefit through a fintech company called SoFi that offered a bonus for refinancing your student loans. I can't remember the exact details of my federal student loans, but I know the interest rate was around 4%. With SoFi, I was able to refinance at 3.606% for 5 years with a $300 welcome bonus. Around the same time, I took a bigger interest in increasing my financial literacy, which is what led me to refinance my loans in the first place. But on top of shopping around for lower interest rates, I also started investing in stocks on Robinhood. Throughout all of 2020, I started researching more and more into stocks and investing as much as I could. I became obsessed with investing as much as possible. During this journey, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the power of compound interest. Investopedia defines compound interest as follows. Compound interest, or compounding interest, is the interest on a loan or deposit calculated based on both the initial principal and the accumulated interest from previous periods. Here's an example of the power of compound interest. If you were to invest $100 at a 10% annual interest rate, that means at the end of 1 year, you would have gained $10. This brings the total value of your investment to $110. At the end of the next year, you would have gained another 10%, but now it's on $110. Which provides you with $11 of interest and brings your total to $121. You can see where this is going. The power of compound interest comes from having your money invested and growing for as long as possible, where you get the effect of interest not only on your principal, but on your accumulated interest over and over and over again. To further drive home the point, let's take a look at this compound interest calculator. If you decided to invest $100 a month and received an average annual interest rate of 7%, which is about the average annual return rate of the S&P 500, at the end of 20 years, your investment would be worth about $49,000, with only $24,000 of your own money invested, more than doubling your investment. So I thought to myself, how can I invest as much money for as long and early as possible? I started selling things that I no longer needed, such as Funko Pops, old phones, computers, and more. Eventually, I ran out of things to sell, so I examined my monthly expenses and determined that if I reduced my monthly student loan payments and invested the difference, my net gains would be larger than the loan and interest combined, effectively paying $0 for the loan. So let's jump into the details of how I did this next. The first time I refinanced my loans in late 2019, it was on a balance of $13,291, with a monthly payment of about $243 for 5 years. Back in October of 2020, when I executed this plan, I had a balance of $10,818 with 4 years remaining. If I had chosen to stay with this current loan repayment schedule, after 4 years, I would have paid about $815 in interest. You might be starting to get an idea of what my plan was. I thought to myself, what if I refinanced my loan again, but this time for a longer period of time? I whipped out my trusty SoFi app and checked my loan options for 10, 15, and 20 years. There was a 20-year loan option with an interest rate of 4.773% and a monthly payment of about $72. If we plug that into our trusty loan calculator again, over the lifetime of the loan, we would have paid $5,993 in interest. Seeing that number was pretty scary. $5,993 is significantly more than the $815 that I would have paid on my current loan plan. However, the monthly payments would be reduced from $243 to $72, a $171 difference. This frees up $171 a month to invest. But is it worth it? Let's whip out our trusty compound interest calculator and experiment. If we put in $0 initial investment, $171 monthly contribution, and a 7% annual interest rate for 4 years, I would have invested $8,208 into the market, and it would be worth about $9,111 at the end of 4 years. That's only a $903 gain. At this point, it doesn't seem worth it. I would still owe a tad under $10,000 on my loan, and the interest gain would barely be more than $815 I would have had to pay on my old loan repayment plan. However, here's where the power of compound interest comes into play. Remember that my student loan is for 20 years, so I have about 16 years left for this money to grow. This next step is key. If I don't contribute any more money and let this investment grow for 16 years at an interest rate of 7%, at the end I will have roughly $26,897. Let me show you in our trusty compound interest calculator again. $9,111 initial investment, $0 monthly contribution, length of time in year 16, estimated interest rate 7. We keep the variance range 0 because our 7% interest is an average. And we compound annually. And you can see by the end of it, we'll have $26,897. If we subtract the initial $8,208 that we invested from the total, we get a profit of $18,689. Assuming the long-term capital gains tax will stay at 15% on profit, after taxes we'll have about $15,885. Remember from our earlier calculations, at the end of the 20-year loan, we would have paid $5,993 in interest. With our initial loan, our interest payment would have been $815. Now if we take our profit of $15,885 and subtract it by the difference in interest between the two loans, we'd have about $10,707 remaining. But wait, remember the original student loan amount was $10,818. Take $10,707 minus $10,818, this will equal a net profit of negative $110. Paying $110 for a $10,818 loan is a pretty good deal. When all is said and done, at the end of the 20 years, simply investing the difference in monthly payments between the 4 and 20-year loan for 4 years and then letting it grow without any additional contributions for the next 16 years, we will have only paid $110 on our original loan after subtracting taxes, principal, and interest. Keep in mind that you get a 7% average annual interest rate if you simply just invested in the S&P 500. But for those who have the time and ability to choose better stocks, you can achieve a significantly higher average return rate. Let's take Apple for an example. If we invested the $9,111 into Apple 10 years ago, what would we have now? On January 3, 2011, which was the first trading day of the year, Apple's closing stock price adjusted for splits and dividends was $10.15. Fast forward 10 years to December 31, 2020, and the adjusted closing stock price was $132.69. If we calculate the compound annual growth rate, otherwise known as the average annual return rate, for this 10-year period, we get 29.31%. Pop this into our compound interest calculator, and after 10 years, with no additional money invested, our $9,111 would have turned into $119,000, $93.25, more than 10x. Obviously, by market cap, Apple is the largest company in the world today, but this gives you an idea of the power of compound interest. So what do I plan on investing in? That's always changing, but I'm specifically looking for growth companies since I'm young and shouldn't need the money anytime soon. And that's how I plan on paying off my student loans effectively for free. Let me know what you think about my plan in the comments below and whether you'd consider doing something like this as well. And if you're interested, use my SoFi link below to refinance your personal or student loans. They're currently running a promotion where you can get $10 for checking your rate and an additional $300 if you go ahead and refinance with them. You can also purchase stocks in the same app. Deposit $1,000 and get $50 worth of stock for free. Thank you for watching. See you next time.